Hi, 8th graders, and it is Monday, February the 1st. It's hard to believe that we are in February, but we are. And today we will be doing 2 lessons, and so I have separate videos for each one. Lesson 60 is subject-verb agreement, and then we will do lesson 61 in a separate video. That way you can divide them up if you would like. So we are beginning a new chapter today. I hope that you were able to complete the test okay, without too much trouble. And so we move into more of a verb usage. And so we're talking about subject-verb agreement, things that you probably will not have a difficult time with, but I am creating the video nonetheless. So let's begin, and we're going to be looking at page 299, and we will begin with the gray box. And if you will take a look at that, you will see that there are 10 things listed there, 10 times when you need to be cautious in your subject-verb agreement. And so instead of reading through those, I'm just going to begin. I've actually taken a photo of each of the 10, and I'm just going to talk through them to give you examples. I think examples are probably easier than rattling off the rules. So let's begin with number 1. And in some situations, in questions, you will sometimes find the subject comes before, the verb comes before the subject. And when that happens, you just need to make sure you know the correct subject-verb agreement. So just think ahead about it. So here's an example. Have the disciples understood Jesus' teaching? Now, if you were talking quickly or you were writing, you might start that with has instead of have. But then when you realize you have plural of disciples, you would realize you need to change to the have. So this one is not a problem. Most people get this resolved pretty easily. So let's look at number 2. Make the verb agree with the subject, but not some other substantive or noun. I don't like the word substantive. I always use noun. Now you know that you can have multiple nouns in a sentence, and so you could have nouns and prepositional phrases, and that's what's going to get you caught up. In this first example, a basket of apples has been dropped. Now, some people might look at that and think, oh, there's lots and lots of apples, so I have to use the plural verb, and I have to say a basket of apples have been dropped. But that would be wrong, because the prepositional phrase, you cannot take that into account when deciding on the verb. So it needs to be basket has. You're going to take out the prepositional phrase, figure out the right verb, then you can put it back in. If you look down at the third one benefit of hard work is strong muscles, not are strong muscles. You've got lots of muscles, but that's not the noun that you have to link up the verb to. So this one is one that tends to catch people fairly quickly. So be cautious of number 2. Number 3, make sure that when you use a contraction, you would actually use the correct words it represents. So if I were to say, here is the puzzle, if I was going to put that in contraction, I would say, here's the puzzle. Or what is the answer? I would say, what's the answer? Again, another one I don't think you're going to have a whole lot of problems with, but just be careful. All right, use a plural verb with a compound subject joined by and. So remember that we've talked about this earlier in the year when we have compound subjects. Math and science are. That's because there's 2 of them. Of course, you would be saying grammar and writing are my favorite subjects. But in this case, it's math and science are. Esther, Abigail, and Dorcas were godly women. So when you have the and connecting, you're going to use the plural verb. Okay, use a singular verb with two singular subjects joined by or nor, because this is a situation where only one of the subjects is going to have the action. So here we have Susan or Kay was washing the floor. That just means I'm not sure who it was. So, maybe Susan and Kay stopped by, and I know one of them washed the floor and one of them washed the dishes. So I might say something like, well, Susan or Kay was washing the floor. I want to use the singular verb in that situation. Down here, if we have two plural subjects connected by or, then we're going to use the plural verb. So I have a whole family of woodchucks, a whole family of rabbits have been eating. So I'm going to use the plural verb, even though it's connected by the word or. So when that comes up in your homework, just make sure that you refer back to number 5. Number 6, use singular verbs with singular indefinite pronouns. Now, indefinite pronouns are each, either, neither, one, another. And they're indefinite because we don't know if they're men, women, boys, or girls. We don't know who exactly they're referring to. That's why they're indefinite. And when we use one of those, it says to use a singular verb with that. So if you look down here, each, there's that indefinite pronoun. We've got a prepositional phrase of the answers, but that has to get kicked out. We can't use it. Each expresses the idea. And it says here, if you need to fill in one, the word one, if you need to use that as a clue to help you. All right, number 7, a singular verb is used when a noun looks like a plural, but is singular in meaning. So with things like measles, mumps, rabies, rickets, civics, mathematics, ethics, politics, physics, all of those have an S on the end. All of them seem plural, but they're actually singular. So it says that we use a singular verb. So Haman's gallows was used for himself instead of Mordecai. I don't even know what Haman's gallows are. So let's move on to this one. Measles is not nearly as common. So I've used measles and the singular verb. So number 7 can be one that's a little tricky too. All right, some nouns are usually considered plural when they name a single object. This one's similar to number 7. Shears, scissors, trousers, pliers, glasses, and they use the plural verb. My glasses are broken. But my new pair, and glasses is in a prepositional phrase, is broken. The scissors are not sharp. There's that plural verb. But if I use the word pair, then it switches to singular. So remember that, because then it's thrown what used to be your subject is thrown in to a prepositional phrase. Number 9, use a singular verb with a collective noun that refers to a group acting as a unit, and a plural verb with a collective noun that refers to individual members acting separately. So here we have, so you're going to have two different things going on here. Class, because they're all doing it together, is reciting Psalm 42. Just like when I say, okay, all you guys together are going to recite Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. The class is going to recite. But if you are going to do it individually, then I would say the class are going to recite or are reciting. So you've got to figure out, are they acting as individuals? Then you use the plural. If they're acting as a group, you use the singular. Unfortunately or fortunately, most people actually revert back to the singular usage, and I'm probably not going to pick on you too much if that's what you do. And then finally, number 10, use a singular verb with a title or a word that is either put in writing, used as a topic of discussion. You're going to just use the singular. The pineapples and the bee. Let's assume that's a an article or a movie. And I'm going to use it as a singular. The Pineapples on the Bee teaches an interesting lesson about forbidden joys, even though there's some things in there that are plural. So this again, at number 10, you're not going to heavily use. I've already pointed out the ones that you would most heavily use, and you need to refer back to those as you're doing your homework. So hopefully that helps you a little bit in deciphering some of the subject-verb agreement that you will see in your homework. And for the next lesson, you'll have to click off of this and click into the new one, but I'll see you in just a few minutes.